everybody. I'm Lori from Atlas Pilates, and I believe I'm live. Fabulous. So thank you so much for watching. I'm doing the Instagram takeover for Gratz Pilates today. And I'm really excited to be here. It's only my second time going live, and I hope I do a good job. So I'm here at Atlas Pilates in Seattle, and we have a fully equipped Gratz Pilates studio. We have, let's see, our guillotine and baby chair over there, and we have 3 Cadillacs, which is so delightful. We have some Swedish Bars back there, and we have 3 reformers right now, and some of the other small apparatus the staff has taken home and during the pandemic so that we can work out at home a little bit. This is the first time that I have worked out or been in the studio since the very beginning of March. So when I walked in, I didn't know whether to run around and jump on everything all at once or whether to cry. Honestly, I'm so grateful to be able to work at this lovely studio on this fantastic apparatus. So today I'm gonna do the toe exerciser, and sometimes I call it the toe tensometer because it's a fun name and it creates tension. We also have a rubber band and also a towel. And I have my handy Pilatesology towel that we're going to use to exercise. So if you want to join along with me and do some exercises, you could grab a little towel. Could be like a little, maybe even a wash, like a dish towel, something that's sort of thinnish. You could grab a rubber band, and you could grab your toe exerciser, because I'm sure you all have one of those ready to go right now. And I also have this lovely foot model that we'll get to. Just do a little bit on the foot model, nothing too intense. So I'm assuming that you can hear me. I'm assuming that someone would have told me by now if they could not hear what I'm saying. So let's see, I called this live the sole of the foot and how to strengthen the sole of the foot. And I know that, the palm of the foot, that's what I said, the palm of the foot. And the reason why usually we call the palm of the hand and the sole of the foot, but I thought, well, I'm gonna change my mind, and when we change our mind, we can change our body, and that is the joy of Pilates, is we take the time, we use the apparatus to get into all the nooks and crannies, and we enliven our bodies, and we return to life, and then we bring it out into our fabulous lives. So I'm sorry that it took a pandemic for me to go live, but that has been kind of the silver lining for me, and maybe for so many of us, that we have focused on and connected with people in a different way. I think it's really going to enhance my practice and my teaching, having had to focus in a different way. So we're going to do some exercise. Here it is. If you want to go with me, or if you just want to watch me. And if you know me, you probably know that I usually use models. I don't usually do it myself, so it's kind of fun to be the model for myself. And I'm going to put my foot up here just so you can really see. And I am going to put the strap around the base of my toe. And I might be, sitting more. Really, you can sit, up tall, you can put your foot up on something, you could sit in the chair. Basically, you want to be able to hold the apparatus in a way that you can move along with it, most likely. Most people don't have the strength and ability to stretch this. I mean, you're just being mindful that the exercise isn't going to be retracting if you don't want to retract. So you're going to curl your toe and exercise the whole first ray. So the toe is connected to the foot bone. Now I just switched to my second toe. I'm going to go up and down. Sometimes I call this the arch strengthener. Today we're going to call it the palm developer, the palm of the foot. People who don't have hands learn to use their feet in a very articulate way. So I've just propped my foot up on this box because it's not that easy to get myself in the frame, the light and the color, and my legs all in the frame at the same time. Now on this toe, I'll show you something on my foot that my toe, my little toe on this side kind of rolls out. So this metatarsal is a little unsupported. So I like to hook around my little toe and then pull it back around into alignment. If I don't do that, then I wind up strengthening my toe in a kind of a, not the way that I want to. So I hook it and then I wrap around my little toe, and I'm also wrapping my metatarsal a little bit around because, and if you have a bunion or any toes that are facing an unfortunate direction, you can use the strap to put, and when I do that, I get serious work where I'm not usually a no pain, no gain kind of person, but I think with feet, we really spend so little time articulating our feet that we might expect some, a little bit of pushback. So I'm all the way around the base of my toe so that I can work the arch of the foot, the sole of the foot, the palm of the foot. And when I get stronger, I might hold this still and just move my foot, and now you'll see that the spring is really engaging more. But I'm just going to, the spring is barely moving and I'm allowing myself to go in a range of motion. On to the next one. Here it is. And this little toe is lined up much better, but I'll still pull it around. And we might think the little toe isn't worthy, it's so small. But the little toe is attached to the outside of the foot, which is attached, as you know, as Pilates instructors, the whole body is connected. So that's the exercise that I want to show you today. The ray to develop the strength and articulation in each ray of the foot. It's called the toe exerciser, but it is more than a toe exerciser. We can strengthen the posture and the hips and sit in a more civilized position if we can. Or you see how, where I actually like to do this? Well, I'll tell you in a minute. So that's the exercise. And there are a lot more exercises to do with this exercise. And if you've tuned in today for a tidbit and to get a little inspiration for one nice thing, then this would be a good time to sign out that you've gotten your exercise. And now I'm going to, I made a plan today I'm going to show you how you can do this and develop your foot without this apparatus. Because, you know, when you don't have the apparatus, you think, well, what is it for? How can I substitute? How can I substitute if I don't have this? What is this thing doing for me? How am I going to do that? What do I have around my house? Why? Why am I doing this thing? Is it just because, you know, it's just because it's there? In a way, trusting the classical Pilates curriculum is lovely because it's all there. We have all of this apparatus and we have these principles of control and breath and precision. There's so many principles, and you can systematically go through and do the exercises and trust that they are giving you a complete set for your body. And I think when I look at each apparatus, I think, well, what? Why? So today I will show you a couple of ways to do it without this apparatus. And one is the vegetable rubber band that you get on asparagus or broccoli. And it's asparagus season, so I have this guy. And what's nice about this guy is you can get the same sort of spring factor. And if it's a thick band, it doesn't like dig into your skin. So you can go through each ray of the foot, just like that, and on to the other side. So I like that. And so that's about what that looks like. It's about the same size as a ponytail holder. And then the other thing I want to do today, well, I'll just finish with this, that you can also use a towel. And what this simulates is that the band here has some thickness to it, where this rubber band is much thinner. Even if you get a thicker rubber band, it will kind of compress down. So if you have something else that you can put between your toe that has a little, that can get in between there, then you're starting to separate the metatarsals and do a similar. So you don't get the same springiness, but you can get some, so you know, you can get those toe spacers. The only thing I don't like about the toe spacers is that you can sort of lean on them because you're not being intentional. If you wear them all day, it's hard to be intentional. But if you use them for an exercise or for a time period where you're being intentional, then you can bring your mind to your body and make changes. So this is just kind of down and dirty, but feels kind of good. And I guess another thing that I'm doing here is I am using this axis of rotation here at the foot because I can kind of, many of us can substitute, we can draw our heel back, and then the exercise kind of becomes this shortening thing here. And you see, if I shorten this, you see how the towel goes down? And that's really not strengthening my foot. It's really shortening my Achilles tendon. So there's so many things to do and learn, and I'm aware of that because I have, especially on the other foot, I have kind of a high arch, and I'm really able to kind of lock back here and shove this forward. And that's, so this is, for some people they can't point their feet, so pointing the feet is great. And if this if this doesn't move, then you do want to slide it up. But for a high arch person or a person that you see this is just jamming back like that, then you try to keep the heel long and move around this axis of rotation. So anyway, that's how you do it with a towel. So I am seeing lots of people, and I'm not really very good at this yet. Hammer toes. Somebody has a question about hammer toes. So I'll put that in my pipe. So I want to show you another way you can do this at home where you don't need any apparatus but yourself, because you can use this finger and this toe. And I would suggest using the little finger and putting it in there, and then the rest of the fingers can reach around, and you're making space and massaging your foot. Here, I'll try to get it on the camera. So it's a lot of the same exercise, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. Put your next finger in there. Try to get the base of the, oh my gosh. And this foot, I kicked the dog door about a year ago, and my metatarsals all turned purple and green, and honestly, I could not even touch it for the longest time. And so now I'm putting all my fingers, well, so far I have 3 in there, and then I try, so I'm getting a little space between there, and it hurts, but it feels so good. And you can do it the way that I'm doing it here, or also crossing the body this way. What's nice about doing it this way is you can, remember a handshake? Remember when we used to handshake? And how you wanted to have it even? It's weird if one person squeezes really hard and the other person doesn't squeeze very hard. Here, you will have squeezing equal. So the foot squeezing the hand, and the hand is squeezing the foot, and now I'm just moving the toe. So basically getting to know your own feet. I think this little strap creates a little space between the toes and between the metatarsals. So once you have all, I guess we'll go on the other side in case you're going along with me. So little finger. So when I push here, I'm using my fingers to push the ball of my foot up. Really working basically lots of bird on the perch. Bird on the perch, bird on the perch. And then the next foot. Bird on the perch is a nice arch lifting endeavor. Yes. And then the next toe. That's when my face starts to go. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then the big toe. Good. And then on this foot, I'll show you this where if you fix your heel with either your hand or on an object, you can twist your metatarsals. So I'm twisting them in and out. And that is different than your heel going in and out. Or your ankle, you're moving at the metatarsals. Whew. So, that's what I have for home exercise. And the place where I like to do this one, especially the one where my hand is there, is in the bathtub. So I like to take a bath. And the sides of the bathtub kind of lend to being in a way that I can be contained and get my foot and move my foot in a similar way to what this toe exercisers can do. So I did lots of bird on the perch. We also have the opposite of stretching up. So, and I'm going to go through kind of a whole little routine in a little bit. So if you tuned in today to learn about the toe exerciser and a way to develop the palm of the foot and the sole of the foot as it relates the toe, it relates up into the metatarsals of the foot. And you tuned in today to learn how to do such a thing on your own with either a rubber band, a dish towel, or your own hand. Then that's what I have to offer there. So the next thing I will tell you, just show you a little bit about the foot, because we've just been there. Here's a foot, and we've been there putting our fingers between our toes and spreading out the metatarsals. Let's see. So many people, because we wear shoes all the time, many people have metatarsals that are very scrunched together. So expanding, makes sense. And between every metatarsal, there's little muscles in there. There's little meat on the bones that you can get circulation and oxygen and a gazillion little ligaments in there that enjoy the mobility and the attention. There are people whose metatarsals are too spread out, and so it can be a problem if, for instance, someone with a bunion perhaps is trying to pull their toe into alignment, but what winds up happening is they wind up pulling the whole metatarsal out, and that can actually create too much space in the metatarsal, and the toe never even, the whole crooked toe can move out on the metatarsal. So whenever we're doing these exercises, we're just looking with our own two eyes. Like, well, what am I doing? And is it healthy? Is it balancing for this body? So this is lovely because it's an extremely flexible foot abnormally because there's no muscles on it. You can see the weight of the body when it comes down. Oops. That doesn't actually happen. So when the weight of the body comes down, it kind of opens the arch of the foot, and then unweighting it. So this is like a little spring, and it's part of our shock absorption. And if a foot is too floppy, then you have nothing to push off of, nothing to stand on. And if a foot is too stiff and you come down, clunk, clunk, if there's no motion there, then that's not really healthy either. So I think one last thing about the foot is that the weight of the foot, the weight of the body coming down on through the shin bones is coming, it's not coming right on the back. Like the weight is coming down on the last, at least third or more than third or sixth or something. And then the weight will distribute forward through the forefoot, and also it can distribute back through the heel so that it distributes in two directions. So when we do stuff like the towel exercise or the bird on the perch or flexing and pointing the toe, the tree going up, flexing and pointing the toe, that we are sending energy out in two directions. It's not all about the toe forever, or all about the ball of the foot. Pilates doesn't do this too much, but there's some techniques that are really, really focused on stretching the ball of the foot out there. And I don't know, I think it needs to be like, the whole thing needs to work together. So, that's what I have for the my little itty-bitty anatomical section. And when we get to the end, I'm going to show how to bring this to life, like to standing and such. So if you take a small step, it's normal to land on the heel and But if you take a big step, like a lunge, it's normal to land on the toe and then have the weight, the shock absorption go through the toe and then back into the heel. So we're going to practice that standing up and doing some lungy things. So, okay, so now if you want, you can grab either your rubber band or your toe corrector, and I'll take you through a little bit more and just fixating on the bird on the perch. So, and I've seen, this is the apparatus of the month. So even this morning I saw Sandy Shimoda giving an exercise, and it's so great to see everybody, and I love how everyone is chewing on one apparatus at a time and sharing and reminding each other. So this is one that Sandy did, and I love it. So first of all, there's the outer hips, and just being able to sit up tall and using the outer hips and being able to stretch the legs in two directions. And then draw one leg back so that the other foot can do the whole range of motion. And so this guy is going to try to stay up while this guy goes up and down. And then you can change feet like this. This guy stays up. Whew, a lot of burning in there. And then this foot goes up and down. And keeping the outer hips very strong. Okay. And can you save this live? Oh, yes, I am definitely going to be saving this live, and I hope that I pushed the right button at the right time. Okay, another thing we can do is, now, if you have the kind of foot I was describing earlier, the bunion foot, where the big toe goes in, but the metatarsal underneath it is actually going out. Or if you just feel like your big toe is going to get pulled off, you can hook more if you fit in there. You can decide which metatarsal, which toe is going to. Actually, that for my body, this feels more supportive, and it opens a more middle metatarsal. So I call this one the paddle boat, where you're going one and then the other, and it feels so much more supportive than only doing my big toe. So if I want to do my big toe, it's really good, but I'd better just kind of make a smaller range. Whereas with the second toe in there, I feel like I can dig in. And then I think that my foot size, I could even get 3 toes in there because I kind of have skinny toes, I guess. And I can get, and this is actually, that's the metatarsal that I hit on the dog door in the middle of the night. Ow. Bang, bang, bang. Okay. So now I'm going to hold my feet in one position, and I'm going to decide to hold them flexed, and I'm just going to pull straight out, kind of like side splits, and come back in. And I'm trying to be even. I'm trying to not have one leg and then the other leg, and then come in and then stretch. And we can make different combinations. So you can hold one leg and slide the other one like this, and hold this leg and slide this leg, working the outer hips. I think lots of us sit in our hips, and so working the outer hips is as important as working our inner thighs. I mean, it's all good. We can work rotation here. If sitting tall is just like killing you from trying to be up, it's perfectly fine to get a little space here. And you can work your rotation. So we're going out, rotating out and in, rotating back to normal, and then out, and in, and then I can hold one leg still and then take the other leg out, and out. I love exercising and talking at the same time. It's actually really good for me. I usually want to show other people's beautiful bodies. So today, here we are doing this. So, and then I have done some kind of playful stuff where I've been playing around with doing, okay, now I'm going to go off the rails. So, if you tuned in to learn some normal exercises with the toe exerciser, then you saw some nice normal exercises, and now I'm going to go off the rails a little bit, and I'm going to show you some weird thing that I made up because it feels good. So that's the beauty of being an individual, and here we go. So I am going to cross my, I have to pull my mat back. Okay, so I'm going to do the boomerang. And I was playing around one day. My client, she's a teacher, and her partners didn't show up. So we just started to experiment, and then we turn, and we come up, and we land, keeping tension on the toe exerciser while we're pulling this up. And for me, this really keeps me back, whereas my body would much rather spill forward. So I think once we understand the principles of Pilates, we understand how the apparatus works. I mean, live a little. We're live, so we're living. And welcome to my world. That's another thing that I've loved about being home, for me and for my clients, that, no one's watching. Well, now everyone's watching, but for my fans here. Okay. Now, someone asked about hammer toes. Well, there's kind of two kinds of toes. There's the hammer toe, and people call them different things. The hammer toe I call when it's straight, and then it's just the front joint that goes down. And this joint is hooked forward. And that is, I don't know. I don't think it's something that I would exercise. It's more like something I would prevent. So say somebody is doing, say just going up and down, I'm going to watch for when the body goes into that pattern, and I'm going to try to direct them to use their body weight in a way that doesn't cause them to pull right into that pattern. And then, I think it's actually happening to me on this toe. And I have kind of flexible joints. I have had my whole life. But this toe is starting to hook a little bit forward. So, when I'm a young PT or a young Pilates instructor, turf toe, right? Like you catch it on the turf. I think kind of manipulating it and watching when the whole body pulls right into that pattern. And I'm sure you could Google hammer toe or turf toe and maybe learn. Sorry, that's all I got for that. And then the claw toe is when there's there's dorsiflexion in this joint, and then there's plantar flexion on the other one. there, it's like an accordion, like a little accordion foot. And this little accordion foot is a problem that this hits the top of the shoe, and then this toe goes like way down, and this toe they're getting jammed in there. So I think that this toe exerciser with the feeling of length and pulling out and pulling on your own toes, and having your teacher, say on the footwork, molding the toes along. I know I've told this before, but my grandmother lived till 99, and of course she's wearing big shoes all the time. And she told me her feet hurt, and all I did was had her take her shoes off, and I put her foot over her cane. And she was using a cane at the time, and I just put her foot over her cane, and I just talked to her, and I held my hand to mold her foot, just like we were doing with this. And she thanked me up and down that it felt so good to have this warm and stretching, because her toes were clawing. They were like retracting back, like accordions like that. So being able to stand and weight shift without clawing at the earth. And my teacher Ramona, she said, the older you get, the more you claw the earth when you walk. So exercising and getting the circulation in there, and just little by little chipping away at the possibility, bringing the mind all the way down into the body, and just looking at your toes and making it something, making them important is very, very healthy. So that's what I have for my claw toes and the hammer toes. And if anyone else has a question, I'll answer a question. Hello, Toronto. Wow, live. It's crazy. You're right there. So, okay, so nobody's asking me anything, so I'm just going to keep on telling my story. Okay, so I am going to, hello LA, I'm going to show you some lunges, and I think that this is a way to kind of put it all together, where we have worked on our feet, and now we can do something with them. So you can take a step, and then you go through the toe, ball, and heel, and you can lunge and take a little weight through the foot, and then when you step back, the foot springs and then step together. And I've been kind of teaching this online because, you know, everybody's at home and people don't have apparatus, and here we are. What are we going to do at home? Well, walking is lovely. And boy, I see a lot of like crazy ways that we as a people do not know how to take a step. It's pretty shocking. And how hard we land, and how it's just kind of shocking. So I might say that if you stand, say my left leg is going to be like the javelin, and my right leg is going to be the shock absorber. And then just is such a crazy word. There's so much in just. So you're just going to have your posture long, and then so that is not that easy. And I would suggest doing it from a V, so that when you get into a longer lunge, you're not kind of, the Achilles tendon is only so long. And a lot of us are very focused on square hips and pushing our hips down. And I don't know, the body is not made out of metal and wood, so there is a bit of a spiral going on. And so just honoring that, and of course, just one thing at a time. But being able to keep the back leg straight, and then maybe even stepping in different directions, finding a little hang time on this leg. And this will prepare us for our front splits on the reformer, and some arm springs, and honestly, just walking around and being able to control the fall, practicing our arm springs without being all every which way, and then lifting and landing nicely. So that's what I had in mind to do today. I hope that you enjoyed being live with me, and I hope that you've enjoyed the toe exerciser and that you might be inspired to get one. This one is mine. It's my only apparatus that I actually own right now, because I work in this beautiful studio, Atlas Pilates, and even though over the years I have owned an apparatus in my house, I kind of didn't really use it very much. I always prefer to come and work out with the other teachers and the clients and be with the people. So thank you, little toe exerciser, and thank you so much, Gratz Pilates, for having me, and thank you for Pilatesology for everything, for teaching me how to be on camera, and thank you for watching. Bye, everybody. I'm going to end and I'm going to save. Thank you.